Once upon a time, there were two great kingdoms located on opposite sides of a deep valley, separated by towering mountains and a flowing river. The Red Castle stood shining atop an eastern hill, surrounded by strong walls and towering spires. On the western side was the Blue Castle, towering with its walls made of rare blue stones, which reflected the sunlight, making it appear as if it were lit by stars even during the day. The Red King, King Alda, was a brave man but also ambitious and greedy. He desired to expand his kingdom and control the river that separated the two castles in order to monopolize trade. On the other hand, the Blue King, King Balin, was wise and just, a lover of peace, but he would not hesitate to defend his people. The war began when King Alder sent his soldiers to seize a small island in the river that was under the control of the Blue Castle. King Balin saw this act as a declaration of war. He ordered his army to move and reclaim the island, sparking the battle. The first battle took place on the banks of the river, where the Blue Castle launched a barrage of glowing arrows, turning the night into day. King Balin's forces managed to force the Red Castle's soldiers into retreat, though they suffered heavy losses. Siege of the Red Castle. After months of conflict, King Balin decided to lay siege to the Red Castle. The plan was clever but risky, as the Red Castle had powerful siege engines. The Red Castle used massive catapults to launch fiery rocks at the enemy camp, while the Blue Castle used the river's water to extinguish the fires and protect its soldiers. One night, a brave knight from the Blue Castle named Linus sneaked through ancient tunnels beneath the ground and discovered a secret weak point in the Red Castle's walls. He led a small team of soldiers to blow up the wall from within, causing a large section of the castle to collapse, opening the gates for King Balin's forces to storm it. After a bloody battle inside the Red Castle, King Balin managed to capture King Alder. But instead of executing him, he offered peace and a proposal for an alliance to rebuild what had been destroyed by war. King Alder learned a lesson about greed and the dire consequences of it, agreeing to the alliance. With time, the cooperation between the Red Castle and the Blue Castle began to bear fruit. Kings Alder and Balin exchanged knowledge and technology, establishing a joint academy to study the arts of war and diplomacy. They also developed new techniques for farming and irrigation to increase crop yields on the shared lands. Despite the peace, life was not without challenges. There were external forces watching the two kingdoms and hoping to intervene. The Black Castle Kingdom, which followed a policy of overwhelming military power, knew that the union of the two castles would make them stronger, so they began planning to threaten the alliance. King Zagar, the ruler of the Black Castle, sent a massive army. However, thanks to the cooperation between the Red and Blue Castles, the forces of the Blue Castle and Red Castle managed to fend off the invasion after a fierce battle on the shared lands. They used new technologies in both defense and offense. After this successful battle, Kings Alder and Balin decided to create a union council, which brought together representatives from all across the kingdom to address shared issues. The council aimed to resolve disputes before they turned into armed conflicts. Years passed, and the Red Castle and the Blue Castle became a model of cooperation and prosperity. Both peoples now remembered the destructive war between the castles as a chapter of the past, celebrating the annual day of peace and union. At the heart of this story remained the river, which once was a source of rivalry and conflict, but now symbolized the connection and unity between the two castles. Thus, true peace was achieved, not only through military might but also through wisdom and solidarity.